I went from a broke college student to having a business that generates 100K per year, teaching something that I was doing for fun, making music. And the crazy thing is that this has nothing to do with making music. Because right now most people think that the only way to make money is through drop shipping or running an agency. But the truth is that if you like something, there's a very high chance that a lot of other people are passionate about the same thing. And if you're good at that thing, then people will pay what is necessary and do what is necessary to acquire that knowledge. Today I want to show you 3 key concepts that allowed us to reach 40K subscribers and to make a living from what was just years ago a passion. And everything that I'm about to show you can be simplified in a single idea. Turning your passion into a business comes down to 3 things: value, brand, and transformation. Let's get to the first point and talk about value. To build an audience, you need to give practical value that can actually bring a change. I was in university when I approached FL Studio for the first time. FL Studio is a program that most producers use to make music. I fell in love with the idea of making beats and making music because it felt so much freer than anything that I've ever done up until that point. I was in med school. I knew my career was gonna be set. I was gonna be a doctor and everything was gonna be fine, but that just didn't sit right with me. I knew every single day that I couldn't fit in a world like that. I just couldn't fit. So months went by, and the more I made music, the more I enjoyed it. I had such a strong desire to make it in my life, and I was willing to do anything that I could to make it work. Meanwhile, classes got more and more intense, exams got more and more intense, and I also had internships every single afternoon that basically killed my free time. And the worst thing was that I actually had no idea how to make it work. I had the drive and the desire, but I had no roadmap whatsoever. But everything changed when I met my 2 best friends, Leo and Luca. At the time, we were all producers, all making beats, but without a plan. And we came up with an idea. What if we teach other people what we know about music production? We didn't know it at the time, but that question completely changed our lives. So very quickly, we got set up, we launched a YouTube channel, and without really an idea of what we were doing, we just began making videos. And in a couple of weeks, we got our first 100, 200 views. It was very low compared to maybe what other people were doing, but to us, that meant everything. We published with extreme consistency, and we made sure to give as much value as possible in each video. The goal of each video was simple. Each person that watches the video must be a better producer at the end of the video. And that's exactly what happened. After months, we were flooded with comments of people saying, "Thank you. Now I can make beats in the style that I want. Now I know what to do. It is all thanks to your videos." And to this day, this has been the backbone of our business. So if you have knowledge and you want to build a business from this knowledge, the first thing is that you need to show people what they're capable of. Teach them what they can do and make them understand that it's possible for them too. Most people think that it's not possible for them. If you give them the tools and they test those tools for themselves and understand that it's doable, you're literally changing their lives. And that's exactly when a random viewer turns into a loyal fan. Talking about loyal fans, this leads me to the second key point, which is that you need to create a brand that allows people to remember you. To pick the story back up, a couple of months later, I would say like 6 to 9 months later, we got bored of those videos. We didn't feel like making the same videos over and over, so we started to copy other people. The thumbnail style from one, the editing style from another, and slowly but surely we began to lose our identity. What's crazy is that we thought that we were missing something, and that's why we started to copy other people, but we actually had what we always needed. Because your brand is not your logo, it's not your font, it's not your color. The brand is what people come back for, and people started to recognize it. We got to a point where people were literally calling us out in the comment sections. They were saying that they couldn't recognize us anymore and they missed the old channel that we had. And of course, this also impacted our revenue. People were less interested in our products and our services because they didn't get what they came for in the first place. The crisis that we had got to a point where we basically stopped making videos for months. And of course, that made the business sink even more, and we almost got to the point where we quit. But then one day I said, you know what, fuck it. Let me just do what I know how to do best. Let me do one normal video that we used to do years ago. So I turned the lights on, I positioned the camera, and I just started recording. I then went to edit it and then publish it a couple of days later. And I didn't think much of it, but the response was actually insane. People were super excited. Our followers, our loyal followers, were so happy to see us come back to the content that they always enjoyed, and they were eager to learn more. So we got back on schedule. The engagement got better, and so did the revenue. Now, in this story, the last point is key because it connects to what we were actually selling. Because you see, you can't sell just random products. You need to sell solutions and transformations. At the beginning of our journey, we just sold digital products. Simple sound packs that allowed producers to make their own beats and their own songs. It was simple, it was straightforward, and people who really loved us would buy them. It felt like they were making us a favor and giving us money to then keep making the videos that they enjoyed. It didn't really feel like a very life-changing product. And we understood that mainly because we got stuck in revenue. We couldn't scale. No matter what we did, whether that was ads, whether that was contests, nothing worked. We tried to focus on making the products better, and the products got so much better, but that also didn't change. And it makes sense if you think about it, because how is a person supposed to know what's inside the product if they haven't bought it? It wasn't until a year later that our minds got completely blown. I'm talking completely blown. Our last result was to pay a consulting firm to help us scale. We thought, well, if we don't know how to do it, maybe somebody else can teach us how to. At that point, we didn't know much about marketing, about angles, copywriting, email marketing. All that was pretty foreign for us. But the money that we spent on that consultation probably 10x'd our revenue. Because what they taught us is that when you sell a service or a product, you don't sell that service or product itself. You sell the result that they will get to by buying your product. And at the beginning, as a person who never learned about marketing before, I thought it was pure gaslighting. But the more I thought about it, the more I started to understand. If you think about, let's say, dogs. Dogs don't really understand why they need to take pills. You can't walk up to a dog and be like, hey dog, you need this pill or you're gonna die. And the dog looks at you and says, thank you, owner, for saving my life. The dog doesn't give a shit, the dog just wants the meat. But the pill will save the dog's life. So what do? You take the pill, you put in a piece of ham or meat or whatever, and you give it to the dog. When you give something to somebody that they need to change their lives, you can't just say, hey, take this product. Because the product is unsexy, the product is boring. Most probably the product is hard to use. There are a bunch of things that are negative about the product. So you need to make them understand what they will get by using the product, by using that service. And that is the life that they want. This perspective changed me because it made me understand that when you're doing marketing, you're not gaslighting people. You're allowing them to see what they couldn't see on their own. And I want to highlight that this is your job. As a person who teaches and as a person who sells a service, if you already have started or if you want to start, this is your job. Because people will be grateful if you give them the information that they need in a way that they can absorb. Before we wrap everything up, if you want to join our free school community, you can click the link in the description. It's new, we're just starting it out, but we want to get to know you and we want to get to help you. That's it for today. Take care.